I entered the town that breathes fire. I don't know why I'm here. Maybe it's morbid curiosity. Maybe it's the need to see the edge. But one thing I know for sure, the place I'm going does not want me to come. I'm standing at the border. Before me is a land that has been burning for over 60 years, a place once called Centralia, but now it's an exclusion zone. As I step onto the cracked asphalt, I feel a heat. It's not from the sun. It's coming from beneath the very ground. And you know what the most chilling part is? This heat doesn't just warm you. It breathes. I can hear its hiss and feel its damp, sulfuric breath on my face. I'm here to understand what made an entire town burn, but it feels like I'm descending not into a ghost town, but into someone's endless purgatory. This is the real Silent Hill, and I'm going in alone. Centralia was built not on a dream, but on coal, on black gold. But right from the start, this land was steeped in darkness. I searched the archives, the old records, and I found more than just history. I found a bloody legend. In the 1860s, the Molly Maguires, a group of vengeful miners, raged here. They weren't just bandits. They were a shadowy society delivering their own brutal justice. Violence, bloodshed, murder. The mines claimed lives every day, and those who remained executed their own form of rough justice. It was here, on this ground, that the town's founder, Alexander Ree, was killed. They say his soul never found peace. It became trapped in the mines, soaked with his blood and the blood of other victims. In its prime, people simply tried to bury this darkness with coal, money, and prosperity. The town began to rot long before the fire. It was cursed by the sins of those who dug it out of the earth. When the mines closed, those underground tunnels became empty vessels, just waiting to be filled. And in 1962, they received exactly what they deserved. I feel like this is not just a geographical location. This is a place that remembers. The fatal fire, stupidity, or evil fate. I'm walking the streets where their houses once stood, and I'm visualizing that fateful day. May 27, 1962, the municipal council decided to simply burn trash in the town's landfill. Right inside an abandoned coal shaft. They were so confident. It was routine. But this time the fire didn't go out. It escaped. It fell through. It fled into the labyrinth of coal tunnels. I realized that at that moment the fire stopped being a simple element. It became an entity. It was trapped, and it began to feed, feeding on the coal and perhaps the grief of this place. I found where the landfill was. It's just an overgrown lot, but I can hear the wind creaking in the fragments of old fences, and it sounds like the laugh of an evil fate. The authorities knew about it, but they ignored the threat. They decided the town was not worth $4.5 million. Centralia was left alone with the disaster slowly crawling beneath it. The most terrifying part is that no one panicked initially. People kept living, refusing to believe that a living, breathing monster was growing beneath their feet. They smelled it, but they didn't believe their senses. The first serious sign came only in 1979, 17 years later. The owner of the local gas station, Tommy Burkowski, checked his underground fuel tanks, and was horrified to find the fuel temperature had reached 172 degrees Fahrenheit, 78 degrees Celsius. That was the moment when ordinary life collided with hellish reality. He closed up and fled. That was the first visible casualty of the burning town. The anomaly zone, underground souls. The deeper I go into this zone, the more I feel that I am not alone. This heat and smoke create an anomalous atmosphere. I see the old foundations now overgrown with weeds. If I listen closely, I can hear a faint crackling beneath the ground, not of coal, but of something more fragile. Sinkholes. They tried to fill them, but the earth simply spat them back out. The local legends I heard speak not of gas and fire. They speak of lost souls, the souls of miners who couldn't escape the collapses, or the souls of the Molly Maguires victims. When the town burned, these souls were sealed in the flames and cannot ascend. They wander in the smoke that seeps from the earth. I feel a heavy stare. Every time I turn, I expect to see a silhouette in the cloud of sulfuric steam. But there is only emptiness and heat. This constant feeling of being watched is maddening. The town is empty, yet I feel like I'm in the middle of a crowd. The pit of horror, the earth that craves to consume. But even the mystique pales in comparison to one terrifying, tangible fact. I am standing where 12-year-old Todd Dombowski nearly died. 1981. I imagine his scream. It didn't just fall. The earth opened its jaws right in front of him. It was a 50-meter deep chasm. Carbon monoxide was pouring out of it. Not smoke, death. I look at this place and I have one overriding feeling. This wasn't geology. This was personal. The earth had finally decided it had enough. It opened its mouth to consume those who desecrated it. That boy miraculously escaped, but his story was a warning. Leave. The government finally admitted defeat. A colossal sum was allocated for relocation. Houses were demolished. But like a true phantom, Centralia refused to die. Because a few people refused to leave. I think they stayed because they believed, if everyone leaves, the evil wins. Or maybe they simply couldn't abandon those lost souls now forever sealed in the fire beneath the town. Their homes stand like final outposts in the battle against the underground blaze. I walk along the graffiti highway. It's cracked, it's smoking, but it's covered in messages. Messages trying to make sense of this endless nightmare. They say Centralia became the prototype for Silent Hill, but I can tell you the reality is scarier. In Centralia, there are no monsters visible to the eye. Here, the monster is the place itself. It is the underground fire that will burn for another 2.5 centuries. I'm leaving, but I know this heat will stay with me. It's the chilling knowledge that right beneath the streets of America, beneath people's homes, beneath their feet, something ancient, hungry, and endless is burning. I've been to Centralia, and I am certain I didn't see a ghost town. I saw a gateway, and whatever is behind it will burn for a very long time. And this smoke will always remind me that human foolishness can create an eternal hell